I'm working on 3 projects right now, and it's being able to give 100%. It's not spreading yourself thin.
True.
And also, I have to be a mother and a wife and a sister and a daughter and a TV personality, and it's a challenge. It's not easy.
Taleen Khanoyan, a multifaceted talent whose career spans the realms of music, entrepreneurship, fitness, and now reality TV. Taleen began her musical journey at the age of 9, mesmerizing her audiences with operatic voice before transitioning into the world of pop and R&B. As a founding shareholder of CTZN Cosmetics and pioneering in a female-only fitness boot camps, Taleen has been a driving force in empowering women and promoting holistic wellness. And now Taleen has stepped into the realm of reality television as the newest cast member of the Real Housewives of Dubai. You become a new member or new cast for the Real Housewives of Dubai.
Yeah.
How did this opportunity came to you?
Yeah.
And how did you perceive it when it came?
So, great question. The way it came in short term is my
Welcome back, Alpha Squad, to a new inspiring episode of the Alpha Talks Show, the #1 fastest growing show in the region. Today we have the pleasure of welcoming a true powerhouse, someone whose journey embodies resilience, creativity, and relentless pursuit of passion and purpose. Our Alpha guest today is none other than Taleen Khanoyan,
There you go.
a multifaceted talent whose career spans the realms of music, entrepreneurship, fitness, and now reality TV. Taleen began her musical journey at the age of 9, mesmerizing her audiences with operatic voice before transitioning into the world of pop and R&B. Her time in Los Angeles saw her singing with Jamie Foxx, sharing stages with icons like Christina Aguilera and Sting, and crafting songs that resonated with audience on American Idol. But Taleen's story doesn't end there. In 2014, she embarked on a new chapter in Dubai, where love, family, entrepreneurial spirit converged. As a founding shareholder of CTZN Cosmetics and pioneering in a female-only fitness boot camps, Taleen has been a driving force in empowering women and promoting holistic wellness. And now Taleen has stepped into the realm of reality television as the newest cast member of the Real Housewives of Dubai, bringing her unique perspective as an American Armenian to a global audience. Her journey on the show has been filled with challenges, growth, and testament to her authenticity in navigating the spotlight. So join us as we unravel Taleen's remarkable journey from her early days on stage to her entrepreneurial ventures and gain insights into her experiences on the Real Housewives of Dubai. So it's time to hear from a true alpha and inspiration to all the women around the world. So please welcome Taleen to the Alpha Talk Show. Welcome, and it's an honor to have you with us today.
What an introduction.
Phew, a lot of work's being done.
I feel like I have nothing to say. You said it all. It's amazing. Thank you.
How do you feel today?
I'm very happy to be here.
Same here. How do you feel today?
Great.
We start off with a question. When people see the thumbnail, we publish the episode.
Yes.
People will see the thumbnail, they will see the graphics, the title, and they will think it's extremely interesting episode. What can you promise them today to gain if they gave us their time?
So look, I know Dubai is full of expats, and I've been here now for about 10 years. But I truly believe that I've been through a lot, many different journeys, whether it be through the music industry, whether it be through entrepreneurship, motherhood, and now reality TV, as you said. So I really feel like I do bring a lot to the table.
True.
And I kind of come from many different angles. So, I think I'm kind of interesting.
Yeah. You are.
If I do say so myself.
You
Crazy, but, it's interesting.
True.
I've lived many lives, Seif. Many lives.
You wore many hats.
Many hats.
Many hats. And I want to start off with, tell us a little bit about yourself, but in a nutshell. So I will dig from there.
Yeah, so as you said, I started very young in the music industry. I'm Armenian originally. I was born and raised in Fairfax, Virginia, and I started with opera, with classical training.
Amazing.
Yeah, I
How did you go to
opera?
You
know how when children are very young, they're starting in ballet, right? It's a great foundation. my passion was always kind of R&B music and pop. But I had a music teacher who said, you know what, I think Taleen should actually start with opera. So I auditioned for at the Kennedy Center for the children's chorus at the Washington Opera, and I ended up getting in, and it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened, because I feel like I learned so many fundamentals, and not just musically, but just in terms of like life discipline. Even though I was so young.
Opera is like army.
It's 100%. Very militant, very, you have to
Discipline,
be on point. Discipline. And I'm lucky that I got that opportunity at a young age. So I started with that, and then at the age of 16, 17, I moved to Los Angeles. And that's when I kind of went back to my roots, which was pop R&B. I was signed with Jamie Foxx, and he had just won the Oscar for Ray, an amazing role. And he was such an incredible mentor for me, because not only was he a musician, he was an actor. He was
multifaceted.
Multifaceted. He had a pod. Actually, he was kind of pioneering with podcasts, because he had Foxhole. It was he was a radio host, but it was very much podcast. He's always been ahead of his time. So through that, I was able to just work with such incredible musicians and producers and perform on multiple stages. I got to open for Christina Aguilera in Abu Dhabi.
About this.
That
Sting,
was, I know. And Sting, it was earlier on. I was about 14 when I opened for him.
For what age?
14.
I remember my 14.
What did that look like?
Oh my God.
A little different.
Absolutely.
I had my days too, don't worry. No, but I had the honor that night of meeting Queen Noor of Jordan and Sting, and it's opened such incredible opportunities for me. So music was always kind of the forefront of my life, and being in the public eye, but I also loved being in the studio and songwriting, and I got to work for American Idol and write songs for some of the big stars.
What inspired you to go into this direction?
Into music?
Yeah.
Seif, I was singing before I was speaking. Yeah.
If you're opening for Sting at 13, of course, before being born singing.
In my mother's room.
Exactly.
Really, like I really believe, and I'm not a very religious person, but I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe that you're given certain gifts, and you're kind of chosen, and you don't really choose it. It kind of chooses you. And
100%.
I was very lucky in that, I have a very supportive family. My parents saw that at a very young age, and they honed in on it, and they supported me. And some parents say, no, you need to be a doctor, you need to be a lawyer, you need to be, I'm sure you see a lot of that.
Rooted Armenian, 100%.
Armenian, Middle Eastern, we unfortunately we're put in that where the creative side of you is kind of
aside. You figure it out at a later age after you waste time.
I was so lucky that my parents, of course, they instilled education, but they saw my love for it. They saw, especially my mother. Yeah. She really saw my passion for it, and she did everything she could to make it happen.
A quick note, before we jump into this episode, I find this incredibly intriguing. On the back end of our YouTube channel, it says around 75% of you who watch this channel frequently over the lifetime of this channel haven't yet hit the subscribe button. I just wanted to ask you for a favor. It helps this channel so much if you choose to just subscribe. It helps us invite guests that give you great value. It helps us scale the production, and as well makes this show bigger and bigger for you. So if I will ask you just one favor, and if you enjoyed the previous episodes and you're currently enjoying this episode, could you please hit the subscribe button? I love your support. It's incredible to see all your comments and engagement, and we are just starting. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Thank you so much, and I will repay this gesture by making sure that everything we do on this show makes it bigger, and better. I'm committed to do this promise. Do we have a deal? Thank you so much for subscribing. It means the world to me. A question here before we move to the move of Dubai. which is a big move.
Big move.
Your journey and your career as a singer, professional, shared stages with top people. What kind of challenges that you faced throughout this career?
Yeah, I mean, it's a loaded question. I would say the biggest challenge for me was I wasn't a huge fan of the business, the music business. When you're thrown into a city like Los Angeles and you're 17 years old.
Sharks around.
Yeah. You know, it is not easy. And I was very green and very naive and really thought, and I was lucky because I did have family and I did have support and I wasn't the meal ticket for my family like some artists are.
Yeah.
But even that, you really see a side of people, sharks. I mean, they take advantage of you and you're young and impressionable and they sell you the dream. And you know, you're just a number and they want to tell you the artist that you should be and they don't let you be who you're trying to figure out to be. You're 17, you don't know who the hell you are. So to answer your question, I think it was navigating that world, that shark infested world, because it wasn't easy. And ultimately that's kind of why I took a step back, because it wasn't about the music anymore. You know, it became very
hard to fight for something and you don't know what is it.
Yeah. And something so beautiful like music, and I started at such a young age and I had such a passion and creativity for it. It just sucks that the business side takes over and these people take over.
If somebody's starting over now, at a young age, after all these years that passed, what would you recommend to them, advise them?
You know,
learn business.
Yeah. Go diving with sharks. No, I mean, look, when I started Seif, it was a very different industry.
100% true.
Than what it is now. You know, you didn't have social media, the platforms, this, that. But I do think at the end of the day, the entertainment industry will kind of always stay the same.
Yes.
You know, it's
the big players are the big players, the sharks are the sharks.
Exactly. And they will put their nails in you, and everyone has an opinion, and they want to change you. They want to tell you who you are. And, you know, they're money hungry at the end of the day. They don't see your best interest. They look after themselves. What I would say is make sure you surround yourself with a good team. A team that you trust. You know, it was my mother, which that had its own dynamic, of course, because she had to play the role of being a great manager, but also a mother. And that was also difficult. But ultimately, you know, I had that family support. And I think that's so important. If you can have that, then don't fight it. Keep your family with you. Keep your family beside. Nobody has your back like your family. Nobody.
True. Dubai came. What?
Yeah.
LA. Then,
I know.
Dubai. The shine of LA, the vibes of LA. Of course, Dubai has its own shine.
Yeah.
But it's also, you're coming from LA.
Yeah.
What happened?
So I ended up meeting the man that I'm married to today in Los Angeles, but he was living in Dubai. And for 2 years, we had a long distance relationship. I was in LA, he was here, very long distance.
And super hard.
Yeah. Very hard. But we made it work because ultimately we really knew we wanted to be together. And it's crazy because I was 23 at the time. Now I'm 36. I'm like, how the hell did I know?
So early.
I swear. I'm
so
like,
early, 14. I'm singing.
I peaked at like 16. It's so weird. So when we got married, which was 10 years ago, we just celebrated our 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I moved to Dubai, and the first year.
But a question here.
Tell me.
You threw everything behind?
No.
Okay.
No. In short, no. I was still doing my music, but like I said before, things had changed because the business side of things had took over, and I was really turned off by that side of things. But of course, it was still my passion, and I was still doing it. But I kind of shifted my priorities because I'm like, oh my God, I met such an amazing man. It sucks that he lives across the world, but I owe it to myself to see this through.
True.
You know? So I moved here finally. We were dating for 2 years, 10 years ago, and I hated Dubai.
Oof.
I did.
Oh, in the
I
beginning,
really,
totally different. Absolutely different.
It was a culture shock. I didn't know anybody. I missed my family, my friends. I hated relying on somebody. I'm not a dependent person. I'm extremely independent. I hated it. From even asking for a taxi, I couldn't stand it. I was used to
at that time,
and at
there
that
was
time,
no apps.
no, it was so different 10 years.
True.
Every year Dubai changes. So 10 years ago, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So there was definitely a transition period for me. Luckily, my husband, he's also been through that because he's from the States. So he was super supportive and he was, really there for me. And, he didn't resent me in any way for, because I was honest with him. I'm like, I really don't like Dubai. Like, it's not for me, I don't think. Obviously, once, I sunk my 2 feet in and built a life for myself, I started to really see the beauty of the city, and I don't ever see myself going back.
It evolves.
Big time.
So when you came to Dubai, what were the first things that you did to, I would say, continue your career? Coming to a foreign country, have some negativity towards it, in a way.
Yeah.
How did you manage this part? That's a super, I would say, challenging moment in your life.
It's a great question. I remember my brother-in-law, who's also in music, he kind of contacted me with a few recording studios out here. So I started going to these studios, but it wasn't the same, right? When you're in Los Angeles, you're literally in the mecca of the music business. You know what I mean? So at that point, I'm like, okay, I have always been passionate about fitness, always. I had my degree from before in PT and fitness.
Between age 14 and 15, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I was 4 years old when I got my So I'm like, 10 years ago, I saw a huge space
I do believe so.
For fitness. Like, it wasn't what you see today.
Every second person here now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And especially for women and ladies only. And I said, okay, let me not take advantage of this, but this is a great opportunity. It's an opportunity.
It's a market gap.
Absolutely. Huge market gap that I saw. And then I started to kind of, dive into that and navigate through that.
Very interesting, because a lot of people sometimes feel lost.
Yeah.
You left a life in LA, came here, had some challenges, but suddenly you realized, okay, I can pivot a little bit and work towards a market gap or a market opportunity that I saw and capitalize on it.
Yeah.
For these kind of apps, what did you go through? What did you see? And what did you do? And is there an existing app right now?
Look, with apps, I feel like every app and every idea kind of exists, right? It's very rare for somebody to come to you and say,
the new Facebook.
This doesn't exist, right? But I truly believe it's how you make it your own and what you offer that maybe your competitor doesn't offer. For me, I solely based building my fitness app on what I went through after having children. And I went through extreme postpartum depression and anxiety, and the only way out of that for me was fitness. So I really started making this app with the best intentions in mind.
To support people,
to
help
support
people
women and help women, because guess what? I'm not the only one. When I talk about my story, especially in this part of the world, I have so many women come up to me and they're like, thank you. I thought I was the only one. And the worst thing you can feel is alone in something like that. So for me, and what I would say to anybody who's starting an app is put the business side of stuff and think about why you're doing it. And I promise you, the why is always going to push it forward because
course.
people see through that. I'm not in it to make some money.
Zillions or
exactly. True. If that happens, great. If not, that's okay too. If I can help one woman out there,
true.
I've done my job, and people see that.
You have another leg of business.
Yeah.
Related to cosmetics.
Yes.
It came after the fitness app, or it's like.
It kind of came in and out. So it's Citizen Cosmetics.
Yeah.
It's same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I wear many hats.
True.
I've always loved cosmetics. I've been wearing it since I was 1 year old. No.
0.1.
Yeah, I was -8. No, I've always loved the makeup industry, and it's such a fast growing market. And
it's extremely competitive.
Extremely, and I'm learning that slowly. But we met an incredible family, the Khan family, and it's 3 Pakistani sisters, and they started a lipstick brand and lip liner, and also eyeshadows as well. And again, they're just so passionate and genuine and real and authentic, and I immediately was drawn to that. So my husband and we became share founding holders. I'm also on the board, and I love it. I mean, it's as you said, it's a very, very competitive market. Extremely.
And people run, I believe, after brands. Am I correct?
They do. But I also believe that if you have a very good product, quality product, which we do, and I'm not just saying that. I know I'm a little biased. Then I think that really helps. But it's slow. It can be slow.
Because
it can be slow until it's not.
True,
you know what I mean?
Another thing also, and then I will wrap up this entrepreneurship part, and we go into some salt and pepper. Dating app.
Yes. So I know. Look, I'm Armenian, right? And we love matchmaking people. You'll actually see on the show that I love doing that. My business partner, he started a dating app called The Circle Editions, and it did extremely well. We get you on a date faster than any other dating app in the world. Every match is a date. That's our tagline. That's our logo. You can book the date through the app. I believe in it so much.
Why? There are a lot of platforms or services that create such service, like dating, matchmaking. What do you see in it? Or what gap? Maybe we don't see it. That's why I'm asking. Like why it's
gap
from a business opportunity.
Yes.
Like, there is a market for that, and I'm hitting on that.
That gap that I just said. Every app, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge.
It's not a date.
Someone will message that person, and it just they go
unknown.
It becomes, or it's like swiping fatigue.
True.
I mean, the number of stories I've heard where these chats stay open, and people who are really serious, who really want to go on a date, it just doesn't happen.
True.
So with our app, in order to even chat with that person, the date has to be booked. You can cancel the date, okay, if the chat isn't going as planned. But if you see a profile and you like that profile, you can ask her out. And you can book the date through the app.
Wow.
And that's never been done, to answer your question.
One of the 3 things that you're doing, the fitness, cosmetics, and the dating app, which one is close to you? Or you're wearing
it's like
a proper.
It's like asking like which child is.
So you're a proper
you.
entrepreneur. You're not emotionally invested in one over another. It's kind of both, or the 3 of them are kind of equal.
They're all equal to a certain degree. I mean, look, if I really had to pick, like if someone like had a gun to my head, I would say the fitness for me.
Because close to you.
Because I went through it. You know, it's really, but all of them they're so different in so many ways, and they are all facets of who I am. So again, it's hard to compare, but I guess I think the fitness and motherhood would be the biggest. But again, they all are.
Then how reality TV came
I know.
to
Dun, dun,
an
dun.
entrepreneur? I'm singing in opera, then forget about opera. I'm gonna pop an R&B. Forget
know.
about it. Then fly to another part of the world, do some apps, businesses,
Yeah.
and to get these up and running, it's hell.
Yeah.
Okay, life of
No.
entrepreneur is
Yeah.
hell. And then suddenly, you become a new member or new cast for the Real Housewives of Dubai.
Yeah.
How did this opportunity came to you?
Yeah.
And how did you perceive it when it came?
So, great question. The way it came in short term is my friend was on the first season, and she's also on the second season, and she put me forward for the second season. I went through an audition process. She said, I think you'd be perfect for it. You aren't comfortable in front of the camera. You've been in entertainment. You fit the lifestyle. She put my name forward, and all the women there's like a casting part where they
Okay.
put like 10 or 20 of their friends forward. I knew that Real Housewives of Dubai was coming season 1. And I said, let me see how this goes before I commit to anything. Because A, it was the first international franchise from
True.
Bravo.
Yeah.
B, Dubai, this was before Dubai Bling. Dubai had never had a reality show come out
True.
of here. I didn't want to be the guinea pig. I didn't want to be,
Hey, it's me.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know how these things are going to be
True.
received.
There are
especially-
culture things,
Yeah,
and of course.
because look, at the end of the day, Seif, like these shows thrive off scandal
True,
and
true.
drama,
Dramas, true.
and they're not shown in
course.
the best light. And my husband and I, we do have a reputation out here. My husband's family has been here for 20 plus years. He works closely with the government. We really had to
Yeah,
think about it,
of course.
before you put your lives out there. Hopefully we made the right decision. I don't know. I'll let you
Yes.
know in September. But no, I mean, it wasn't. No, it wasn't an overnight decision.
You thought it through very hard.
Big time, and also putting my kids out there.
Yeah.
My kids when we filmed, they were 3 and 2. Very young girls.
True.
I never want to exploit my children.
all
in
these
any
people
way.
around,
All
the-
these
true.
people. I mean, they loved it.
Of
Like,
course.
I wonder where they get that from. They loved every second of it. But it was, it was definitely a family discussion.
Is it scripted?
No.
So
Hand
everything
to God,
is
it's all real. And that was my biggest shock, that it's all real.
any of the I would say experiences over there that made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. I remember my first day of filming with the girls, I ran home and I just started bawling, crying. And I said, I can't do this. I was the only new person in the second season. I felt like I was walking into a lion's den. These women there, and I've been in the music business, okay, so I know sharks. But these women were just vultures, and it was tough. I'm like, how am I going to do this? And my husband looked at me and he said, Taleen, like, you got this, all right?
Take it easy.
Yeah, put your big girl pants on and walk it off and do this, because you were made for this. And it was the best advice I got. But yeah, there were times where I was regretting it. I'm like, this is tough, because it's so raw, it's so real. If it was scripted, maybe it would have been easier, because you know what you're walking into.
100%, especially it's the first thing like this you do. It's really hectic.
Yeah, I've never done reality TV. Performing on stage and reality TV are two very different things.
True, because there are action responses.
100%.
Any fights?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, just wait. No hair pulling, but there were no extensions were lost in the process. No, no wigs were off. Yeah, lots of fights, and but also lots of beautiful moments.
True.
I don't want to just shed a dark light on it. For every negative, there's a lot of positive, and you genuinely see 6 women who share a lot in common, who we're all expats in this incredible city, and we all have a story, and I think a lot of people can connect to
True.
that.
Who's like, of course, that's a reality TV show. Did you have any close friends out of it?
Yeah, I think it's funny. Going in, Caroline Stanberry and we were like, yeah, she was very British, just cold as ice, tight-lipped, didn't even give me eye contact. I'm just like, what a bitch, you know? But
By the end,
we're like such close friends.
Oof.
And it's crazy. I genuinely adore that woman. Also, Chanel Ion.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the person I saw when I watched season 1. I was like, ugh, I'll never get along with someone like this who thinks they're like the queen. And she's actually the most genuine, most realist person that I've met in the city, actually. So it's very
the perception,
strange.
True. The
You
perception
just you
sometimes
have no
different.
idea
True.
what you're doing, like when you go into something like this.
How did you balance being an entrepreneur, being a mother,
Yeah.
and again acting? The
Yeah.
three. How do you balance that?
It's tough. It's
I
not easy.
believe.
I wish there was.
Young children. Like,
Yeah, I know. I wish there was a secret to all of
that,
it.
yeah.
But I will say this. When you can't give 100 and you can only give 80, make sure there's somebody there who can give that 20%.
Mhm. Correct. I love that.
And don't feel bad for that. And it goes back to that first question you asked me about someone starting out in the industry. It's support. It really takes a team.
True.
And we live in a country where, help is easy. And, I have a nanny, thank God. It actually makes me a more hands-on mother. My family comes, my mom came from the States to stay and while we were filming to be with the kids. And of course I have that mom guilt.
Mm-hmm.
We all have that mother guilt. We're never doing enough for our children. But I always say your kids, if they see you doing what you love and pursuing your dreams, that's what they're going to remember.
Mm-hmm. True.
Not when you just couldn't be there for 5 minutes. They're gonna know what you were doing for them, and I always tell them that it's for them at the end of the day.
100%. There are two parts of your career or journey. You've been under the spotlight.
Yeah.
When you were singing, and then part of entrepreneurship is under spotlight, part not, and then on reality TV you're under the spotlight.
Yeah.
Is there any differences between these two, or you manage them more or less the same?
What a great question, Seif. I mean, yeah, there are differences. Look, entrepreneurship is, I don't think it's as glamorous
True. It's hell.
as being on TV and the hair and the makeup. And, people who are entrepreneurships, you're your own boss. And people don't see the nitty gritty. It's
True.
not a 9 to 5. You don't get a worksheet.
It's 24 to 24.
It's 24 hours. Even when you're sleeping, you're thinking of it.
True.
You're,
Responsibilities. What did
yeah,
I do?
what did I do? What can I do? What should I do tomorrow? It doesn't stop. And I think, with being on TV or being in the limelight, there's kind of a beginning and an end. You know when the season's going to end. So I think entrepreneurship is much more challenging in that it really takes over your entire life. If you're doing it right,
Of
I
course.
think.
You've been under the spotlight big part of your life.
Yeah.
And with every spotlight comes hell of criticism.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Look, everybody is going to have an opinion. Everybody.
True.
You can never be perfect. I think you have to focus on why you started to begin with, and that will help your integrity in the entire thing. I never went on this show for 15 minutes of fame. This has been in. I've been in the spotlight from
14.
a very young.
Stink.
From negative.
Stink 14.
Yeah. So for me, it's the why. It always goes back to the why, and that kind of helps you block out the noise. I mean, at 16, I had record execs telling me I needed to lose 30 pounds. I needed to dye my hair blonde. I was too smart, too this, not smart enough. Everybody is going to have an opinion. Everybody. And not just someone in the limelight, someone starting their own business, an entrepreneur. And it does take courage to put that aside to differentiate what constructive criticism is, because I don't believe all criticism is
True,
bad.
true.
I do take it all, because I think some
And I
people
filter what works for
But
you. True.
you filter. You gotta filter it, and you think, okay, is this gonna serve me? Does this serve me, or does this hurt me? Because there's two
True.
different things.
100% true.
But it does take a power and a strength.
Did you start to get the feedback about participating in the reality TV?
So we just aired our first episode,
Yeah.
and we got incredible feedback.
Wow.
Really good feedback, which I'm so happy about. All of my castmates were like, stay off Twitter, because
Yeah.
they're so mean on Twitter. I looked on Twitter, pretty good so far. I did get one. It was like, oh, she looks like a Kardashian, and I was like, yes.
Yes.
And then they go, Rob Kardashian. I'm like, this fucking asshole. You know, like they're such assholes,
True.
right? But you just gotta
Ignore it,
You know,
yeah.
because how sad is your life that you have to get on your computer and
True.
and
Behind a
say,
screen.
say mean things
True.
like that. But I just kind of laugh at it. I actually laughed at that.
And the more criticism, the more fame.
Absolutely. You're
So
doing
that-
something right.
true.
The more haters you have, the better you're doing.
100%.
I believe that.
100%. What's next for Taleen on TV? Is there something in the pipeline?
So my plan is, let's see how
This will
this
go.
season goes. Hopefully we get renewed for season 3. I love being part of the NBC family and the Bravo family. They've welcomed me with open arms. So inshallah, if we get renewed for season 3, I would love to continue the Real Housewives of Dubai. But I would also love to
Explore others.
explore and
True.
put my music out, and even there have been some housewives that have done Broadway off
True.
this. I'd love to get back on stage. It's such a great platform, and it does open so many doors that you would be stupid if you didn't take advantage of.
True.
So I can't fully answer that question because I don't know what opportunity will come, but I'm open to anything.
If I ask you, among these, I would say, hats that you wore as an entrepreneur, as a singer, and all these you are professional. So professional singer, professional entrepreneur, and now I would say a professional actor.
Yeah.
Which one is super close to your heart? Are you a business entrepreneur, or it's a very tough one?
It is. It is. You're good at asking the tough questions. I think my creative side. I
Yeah.
think music. I mean, like I said, I was singing before I was talking.
Yeah.
So that will always just resonate the most with me. And, there are times where I'm in a meeting and I'm just kind of like falling asleep. But when I'm in a recording studio or I'm on stage, that's probably the biggest high that I feel. So I would say the creative side of things.
You know what I love is a lot of, I would say, people or entrepreneurs, they start something, it fucks up,
Yeah.
they stop. In your career, I see, like, you started in singing, you loved it, you performed very well, and then suddenly you didn't like what's happening in
Yeah.
it, in that particular place, then you decided to pivot.
Yeah.
When you pivoted, you completely pivoted to something completely else.
Yeah.
And you kept running after it, and then an opportunity popped up with TV,
Yeah.
and you kept. So there is no problem in pivoting. There is no problem of stopping something that it doesn't bring you the joy that you want, and
Yeah.
you continue your life in the way that you see
Yeah.
it's appropriate for you.
Yeah, and I think people are so scared because people want to put themselves or other people in a box.
True.
That's not the way life or energy works. And that's not the way I've looked at things. And I've been blessed where I've been able to pivot, and I've been able to say, okay, this opportunity has presented itself. Let me see this through. And I'm all about seeing it through if I believe in it and if I feel like it serves me. But I think what's meant for you will always come back to you.
100%.
And with the Real Housewives, it really organically came back to me. You can't fight something like that.
I always say that alphas are the people who really take the tough decisions.
Yeah.
And when I mean tough decisions, because I'm reflecting on your path, you've been under the spotlight, sharing stages with like literally icons.
Yeah.
And you suddenly took the tough decision that I need to move and I need to make it happen. Regardless, it's a freaking tough, but I'm gonna do it for a period of time until I bounce back to my creative part or.
Yeah.
So my chapeau for that.
Thank you.
It's really
Thank you.
shows
Coming
that
from
really,
you, that means a lot.
Really
Seif. Thank
a
you.
true offer.
Thank you.
What is success then to you? What success means?
Success is different for everybody, right? Some people put a number on it. If I make $1 million, I'm successful. If I get this promotion, I'm successful. If I become a doctor, for me, it's a little different. And I truly, genuinely mean this. If I can provide for my family, if I can give them food where they don't have to worry, if I can give them a roof over their head, love, and unfortunately in this day and age, those are not givens, as you see around the world. If I can do that, I've succeeded. If I can give back to my family, that's what it is. Yeah, okay, the cars, the clothes, the bags, the shoes, great, that's all frills.
True.
And some people really want that
Yeah.
and appreciate that. And I'm not taking that away from people. It feels good sometimes to buy something because you worked for it. I get that.
But you don't just like be blind and after it and that's it.
It for me, it doesn't fill me inside. But when I see my children and I know they can go to school, they don't have to worry about the education and, you know, where they're going to get their next meal. These are not givens in this world.
True.
That for me is success.
Since we talked about success, I need to touch base with failure. So if I ask you what's your favorite failure to date, the failure that you're really grateful for, that really propelled you towards greatness, to success, what will be this favorite?
I love how you phrased that question because you said the failure that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
People don't look at failure like that. And that's the problem because as important as success is, failure is just as important.
It builds you.
It builds you.
True.
And you have to learn from it. As hard as it is.
Yeah.
To answer your question, of course, I've had many failures. The biggest one, I think, was I literally bombed in front of L.A. Reid. He's the music industry. He's one of the biggest executives of the music industry. And my voice gave out. It was the worst performance ever. I was in his office. I literally had the record contract sitting there. And it was awful. It was terrible. At that moment, I'm like, oh my God, this is the end of my life. This is the end of my career. How do you bounce back from something like this? Looking back, had I been signed, there's no way in hell that I would have been released. They had just signed a girl by the name of Rihanna. Oof. Yeah. So they would have shelved me.
You're always rubbing shoulders with big names. Okay. Okay.
They had just signed a little girl from Barbados named Rihanna. There was no way they would have put me out, okay? Because this is what the labels do. They take talent and they shelve them. Yeah. And you're stuck.
You're done.
You're done. You can't do anything. So it was, now looking in hindsight, it was the best thing that could have happened. I wouldn't have been signed to Jamie Foxx. I wouldn't have been able to do so many things because I would have been bound to a label that probably wouldn't have given a crap about me. So, and again, there's so many other things. But when you're in that moment, you don't see it.
Exactly.
Ever.
You feel like, why my luck is like this?
Yeah.
Why? Correct.
But you can't look at failure like that.
If I flip it,
yeah.
What is your proudest moment?
Moving to Dubai. Yeah. I truly believe that my life was catapulted into such a drive and a positive direction that I don't know if I would have found those opportunities in the States.
Wow, because I love why you said this. Because when we started the conversation, you said like when you came to Dubai, everything was hard, tough. But when I ask you about what's the proudest moment, you've mentioned the same thing that was super tough.
Wow, you just made me realize.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to give you like a therapy bill right now. I I swear. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're right.
Which means when something is tough, it extends you beyond your comfort zone and where your growth happens.
Stick with it.
If I circle back to being an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
do you believe that anybody can be an entrepreneur, or it requires particular skills and attributes?
I don't think anybody can be an entrepreneur. I think there is always a leader and a follower. And when you're an entrepreneur, you have to have those leadership qualities. You have to be able to get away from the pack. And it's hard. And I think you either have it or you don't. I really do. And that's okay. I think some people thrive in being a follower and being,
True,
you know,
and it's absolutely.
and that takes nothing
the number
away
two
from
is
them.
not a bad thing.
Absolutely
it's one of the greatest
not.
things. Yeah.
You know, without number two,
True.
there's no number
Exactly,
one or
exactly.
number three. You
True.
need that. But it takes a certain resilience. It takes a certain leadership quality, as you know. It's fighting the noise. When everybody says don't do it, the entrepreneur will always do it.
Exactly. And what is I would say, from your standpoint, what is the toughest thing about being an entrepreneur? The toughest?
I think it's balancing life, right?
There's no, but
because I mean, there's no balance. Like it's a 24-hour job. You don't just come home and, you know, that's it. You put your bag aside. It's balancing life. It's also balancing all the companies. I mean, I'm working on 3 projects right now, and it's being able to give 100%. It's not spreading yourself thin.
True.
And also, I have to be a mother and a wife and a sister and a daughter and a TV personality, and it's a challenge. It's not easy.
It's not like how people say or see that everything about entrepreneurship being your own boss,
No.
lavish life.
No.
It comes, but it comes with a sacrifice.
Yes.
Comes with discipline. It comes with after
All
you
that.
pass through hell. It needs a particular DNA, I would say.
And I don't think it stops, to be honest.
No,
I
no.
really don't. I
Me
think,
too.
even if you see that lavishness, they're still working.
Exactly. You have to keep it moving.
You still keep it going. There's
True.
no stop button to it.
Oh, there is no stop button, because that's how I define an alpha, which I'll ask you later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How is your typical day looks like?
So I wake up. Alhamdulillah.
At 14.
14. Have my coffee. I need to have my coffee. I am the one to take my kids to school. I make it a point because that time that I have with my girls in the car is everything. I remember when I was a child, my dad would take us to school, and I still remember those car
Bonded,
rides. We
true.
bonded. So I make a point of doing that. I drop them off. I come home. I open my laptop.
Start.
The storm
Yeah.
starts, and I try to categorize it in, okay, like I'm such a blister. I like writing things down, not in my phone. I like to
paper and
see
pen.
it, paper and pen. I'm
Pen,
very
laptop.
old school with that. I don't know why. For me, it resonates
True.
more.
It sticks.
It
Yeah.
sticks. Even a whiteboard. I have a whiteboard in my living room.
But it's great. It's
And
proven. It's proven.
and even when you're just walking past it and you're not looking at it, it's like
Exactly.
the dream board,
Exactly.
right?
Visualization,
It's visualization.
manifestation. True.
So I literally list everything I have to do, and I categorize it. Okay, I have a meeting at Citizen office. I have a meeting with the dating app. We're our app builders are out of Australia, so we're on different time zones. That's in and of itself a 24-hour job. I have to get on a call with them. So it's a lot of admin work. And then Bravo. And then
True.
when filming was happening, that
Crazy.
would just
True.
take over my life, and I had to put things aside, and that was okay because again, I had someone
Exactly.
helping,
Take
and
over.
you
True.
have to have that support. So yeah, it's just balancing all that.
I will move to a quick fire section, so where I ask you a couple of quick
Okay,
questions.
I like fire.
Let's do that. So what's your main or must-have morning routine?
Coffee.
What's your favorite song to perform live?
If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys.
Top 3 must-have items in your gym bag.
Pre-workout, great playlist, and water.
Your
And
favorite
a towel.
And a towel.
I'm sorry, that's four.
Your favorite cheat meal.
Oh, a good burger. Love a good cheeseburger. And Dubai is so full of them.
Dream collaboration in the music industry.
Billie Eilish.
One word to describe your experience in the Real Housewives of Dubai.
Revealing.
Best advice you've received about entrepreneurship.
In one word?
No,
Oh.
an advice.
Focus on why you started.
Favorite vacation spot with your family.
Maldives.
How do you stay motivated and inspired during challenging times?
Coffee. Lots of caffeine.
Inspiration.
I wish it were deeper than that.
In 3 words, describe yourself.
Loyal, driven, and fun.
Here's the nugget question. So we are in the Alpha Talks show. And I will ask you, how do you define an alpha?
An alpha is somebody who unapologetically themselves, they are able to block the noise and keep going.
Keep going. Do you know why when you said the stop button,
Yeah.
I stopped you and I said like, "Pff," because when the main thing about an alpha for me, there are of course there are attributes and but the main one I say like they are the people who have their stop button broken. They're unstoppable. Like
I
when
love
they
that.
desire something, they want something, they just
They
go
keep going.
after it without
Yeah.
the stop button.
And I think very, what like you're saying, like an alpha, it's never the end, because
True.
everybody's mountaintop is
True.
somebody's bottom.
Exactly. True.
Right? And you just have to keep going.
going.
And they have that.
I love that. There's another section called the Alpha Quick Choices. So I'll ask you a couple of questions. You choose one. There's
Okay.
no two.
Okay.
So Dubai skyline or Dubai beaches?
Skyline.
Performing live on stage or recording in a studio?
Recording in the studio.
Yoga or high intensity training?
High
Interval training?
intensity training.
Burj
Yoga, I feel like you're holding in a fart the whole time.
Exactly. Burj Khalifa or Palm Jumeirah?
Palm Jumeirah.
Morning workout or evening workout?
Morning. I'm a morning person.
Classical opera or modern pop?
Ooh, can I say both?
At 14,
Yeah.
opera. And
It changed for me.
choose one now.
Modern.
Modern. So the favorite part of filming the Real Housewives of Dubai, dramatic scenes or heart-to-heart conversations?
Heart to heart.
Dream vacation, Maldives or Santorini?
Maldives.
Beach day or spa day?
Spa day.
One of the sections in the Alpha Talks is that I ask my Alpha guest to ask me any kind of question, and it's also unscripted.
Oh, I have
And
to ask you a
ask
question.
me one question, any type of question.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't think about this one.
What's the color of this?
No,
whatever,
I'm
it's
not.
gold.
You think
That's
I'm
fine.
I'm gonna do that after all this? After what you put me through? I'm not letting you off that easy. No, I'm kidding. What is the secret to your success?
Never giving up.
Yeah,
Absolutely. My mother and never giving up.
your mother and
course.
never giving up. I
Yeah.
love that. So you also see the importance of family.
100%.
I love that.
100%.
I love
I
that.
love the question. What will be the final message you want to leave the audience with today?
I think the final message for me would be don't let people put you in a box of who they think you should be. And if you started with something, you don't have to end up doing that. Like, look at how much I've transitioned and moved into other avenues. And it's not a bad thing. As long as you're genuine, as long as you believe in it, as long as you're passionate, you can do it all. And I think that's okay. People say, stick to one thing and just do it right. Why? When look at the world, it's ever changing.
True.
And if you can change with it and still stay true to yourself and still maintain your integrity, which I've really tried to do, then do it.
True.
Go for it.
100%.
Oh, sorry. I should have looked in the camera.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
You asked me a question, and I gave an answer. And I have to iterate it because it's time. It depends on the time. What is the secret? As an alpha, it's a lot of things that comes into your life either propels you or puts you down.
Yeah.
It's been always, I am on the phase of my why, which is my mother, and my character attributes that I never give up. That's been always all my life. And then there are phases in my life that comes in, that people come in, add to you or subtract, correct? And one of the things that I would say the secrets is I'm in a healthy relationship. I have to say that because either the relationship breaks you or makes you. And if it's
so important.
100%. And if it makes you, it becomes your why that you want to push forward more to let your family, which is the relationship is part of the family, to flourish.
It's so important.
So I had to circle back to this.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that.
We have the last part of the Alpha Talks, which is called the Alpha Talks Memoir.
Oh, wow.
The Alpha Talks Memoir, there are a couple of, I would say, actions the Alpha guests have to do. The first one is to write their experience in the show.
Terrible.
I love honesty.
The worst experience ever.
I love the honesty.
I'm totally kidding. This is one of the best.
Thank you. The second is you will write a question to the next Alpha guest.
Oh, okay.
But the next Alpha guest won't know who's writing. It's a way of making the Alpha guests communicate to each other. Just know who is. Okay? Which means you will answer the question from the previous Alpha. Yeah.
Okay.
So are you ready?
I'm ready. Drum roll.
Okay.
So I'm answering, right?
Yeah. So what's your dream? And what are the triggers that can stop these dreams?
Oof. Well, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
What's my dream? My dream is for all of the work that I've put in all of these avenues that I'm doing in the tech, in my music, in the TV, to succeed and come to some sort of fruition, right? I want it to touch lives. I want every mother who's going through the same thing that I went through to have my app.
True.
And change from it and grow from it and seek help from it. That's my dream.
Yeah.
Really. What are the triggers from it? God, you're killing me over here. Who wrote that? You're not allowed to tell
It's not me.
It wasn't you.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's all triggering if you kind of think about it, right? Because there's so much on the line, because I believe in everything that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest trigger is, well, what if nothing happens, you know? But then it goes back to, I hope if nothing happens, I'll be able to have the perspective of why and grow from it and learn from it. But when you put your heart on the line, because I believe in these avenues so much, when you put your heart on the line, it's scary.
True.
And that's the biggest trigger.
True. Is there any question you think that I didn't cover and you believe that we should talk about?
You covered everything. I'm surprised you didn't ask my blood type.
Really, it's been
Which
an
I don't
honor.
even know what my blood type is.
Same camp. Same camp. No, I faked it so many times.
camp.
I faked it so many
I'm like,
times.
oh,
I don't know
positive.
which one is the correct one. Really,
Oh
it's
my
been an
God.
honor to have
Thank
you with
you,
us today.
Seif.
Thank you very much.
so
It's a
much.
pleasure. And I have to say to the people watching us, we've been scheduling this interview for quite a while.
I know.
We had some ups and downs because of some personal circumstances, but we finally made it. So
did it.
thank you very much. It's
Thank
my pleasure to have you
Thank
today. Thank
Seif.
you.
Thank you.
That wraps another inspiring episode of today's show. I hope that this episode has ignited your inner alpha and left you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer any challenge that comes your way. Remember, alphas aren't born, they're made. It isn't about dominating others, it's about embracing your authenticity, leading with integrity, and making a positive impact on the world. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the Alpha Talks on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your fellow alphas. Also connect with us on social media at Seif El Hakim. Share your thoughts, insight, and stories of personal and business growth with us. Let's create a movement of alphas supporting one another. The world needs more alphas like you exactly. Until next time, stay bold, stay driven, and stay alpha.